Welcome to Definitely Not Funny. Actually, the least funny person I know.
Hello, everyone.
Are you starting right now?
I'm starting right now.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Definitely Not Funny. On today's episode, we have special guest, Cousin Jacob. Pew, 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 pew.
Hey everyone, it's great to be back on the show. I'm looking forward to it. I've been watching a lot of film, trying to get better in the lab, and I'm making my storied return today. So thank you so much, Jacqueline, for having me on. I could have done this without you.
Yeah, this is true. You definitely could not have. He's here for a special episode. He's not an interview. He's a co-host today. Okay? That's been made very clear to me. So I decided, this is fitting because I decided for this episode I wanted to talk about my first impressions of New York after having been there for a couple weeks. And Jacob's a good person to chat about that with because he lives in New York. He actually lives like 4 blocks away from me on this street. No, I'm kidding. I was going to share your address, but I don't even know it. I've never been to Jacob's place, but that's a topic for another time. And yeah, I just think I have some impressions that would be great for us to chat about.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. This should be a great episode. So without further ado, Jacqueline, let's hop right into it.
Okay. First impressions. People are friendly at bars. That's something I've noticed. So in LA, you would go out to a bar and you like go out with your group of friends. And if someone knows someone, then you'll like talk to those other people. But you would never talk to like a stranger. At least not me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But then in New York, I've noticed I go to bars with friends and we like sit at tables and then like the people sitting next to us will talk to us, or like people at the bar will talk to each other, and like everyone's meeting each other.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just goes to show the East Coast spirit really is in your face, whether it be in the friendly or in the mean way. It's good to see that it's kind of making an impact at the bars, but I think in general it's it really kind of rears its ugly head or attractive head, depending on the situation you're in. I think socially, people are a lot better at making their thoughts known to you, and I also think that that's more indicative of the people in New York, and specifically maybe the areas and the bars that you choose to go out in. There are so many different things you can do in New York City, and part of the trouble with living there is choosing which one to do, and I think once you do make that decision, I'm not even trying to get into like platitudes or anything.
I don't even know what a platitude is, but
like ideas.
you do sound like a spokesperson.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be a spokesperson. I just think that people in general are trying to be friendlier because everyone moved to New York because they have the energy and
they want to make friends.
And they want to make friends. They want to meet people. They want to. I don't want to say network, but they're trying to be in this big melting pot to experience more and do more and have the opportunity to do more. And part of that is introducing yourself and making friends with whoever comes your way. That's
true. You're not there to relax.
No.
Definitely not. I was at this bar the other night, and one of my guy friends, his roommate was with us, and his roommate was super, super hot. And I just watched as girls would come up to him and talk to him, and he would tell them the same story about the pesto pasta he made that night. And it happened like 3 or 4 different times.
Oh my goodness.
And he kept telling the same story. What happened when a girl tried to talk to you at a bar on Friday, Jacob?
Well, this wasn't in New York. This was in Boston.
Where you can be less friendly?
Yeah, where you can be much less friendly. But I was showing a few of my friends from home basically a strategic way to gamble so that you don't lose any money.
He was sports betting.
Sports betting and yeah, gambling. And this nice girl approached me and said, "Hey, my friend over there thinks you're really cute. Do you mind coming over and talking?" I said, "No, I'm sorry. I'm in the middle of a conversation with my friends." She says again, "Okay, can we get a picture?" And I responded to that with, "No, I'm sorry. I'm in the middle of a conversation with my friends. Maybe later."
Well, that was weird that she asked for a picture.
Yeah, I thought so as well. But I think in general, though, I don't think well, first of all, it's never happened to me. I hadn't someone ask me for a picture. I'm not a celebrity, although as much as I might pretend to be one. And second of all, I just didn't really know how to react. So in that case, I I just kind of came with the first thing that went to my head, which was, this is kind of rude of this girl. I don't really want to talk to her right now. And went to the next thing. Although in
Okay.
hindsight, I could have been a bit nicer.
So moral of Jacob's story is don't approach guys at bars because they're just going to tell you they're talking to their friends and they don't want to talk to you.
Well, I think from a broader point of view, I think in general in society, it's the onus is on the guy to approach the girl and make the first move, so to speak.
Yes, but that's not what happens in New York, I've noticed.
I know. So the norms change.
There's more girls.
Oh, absolutely. And I think
That's why.
I think part of the mindset of people that move there, girls or guys, but I guess in this case girls, is that they kind of know what they want. Like, you have to be intense. You have to know what your goals are when you move to New York. For the most part, I'm talking more about work, but I think that mindset can bleed over into other aspects, and that's maybe where that comes from on just people being more social side of things. Is that, okay, maybe I just want to make friends with this person because they look cool, or maybe I'm actually looking to maybe go on a date or have them buy me a drink, or even, God forbid, buy them a drink. So you never know.
Oh, so bending the gender rules. Okay, well, that's what I got for that one. Next one is don't ask for oat milk at a bodega. I did that a couple of times. It's not the move. They're not amused. I then asked for something else that they had on the menu, and the guy just told me no, he would not give me anything. So don't ask for oat milk at a bodega. Next one, someone is always down to do something. Like, no matter what time it is, where you are, whatever, there's someone who's down to do something. Do you feel that way?
I feel that way. I think it depends on the day of the week, and it depends on what you're doing. On a Sunday night, I'll be much more amenable to going to see Barbie than I would on Friday night.
Aww.
Just because, that's just an example of from
We're trying to get
recent
Jacob
times.
to see Barbie.
Just because, kind of, there's a lot more going on in terms of social aspect of things on Fridays, although I think every day of the week.
But even what you're saying, like, you're down to go see a movie on Sunday night. In LA, like, people don't do anything on Sunday night.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's true. I also think that there's kind of this, not only is it the main group of people that hang out in New York, but there's a revolving door of people who come and go. So you're always getting texts of, oh, okay, hey, I'm in New York. Like, are you around? Can we grab a coffee? Do you have time to grab a drink? Do you have time to do yada yada, or go to a museum or something? And I think in New York, there's all this activity where it's like everyone else is doing something, so I feel like I need to do something too. And then further, that kind of makes it when Jacqueline texts me, hey, can we go to the gym tomorrow morning? I'll be like, yeah, of course I'll go to the gym with you tomorrow morning.
Okay, this is much nicer than what Jacob said to me when I asked him before if we could go to the gym together. He goes, keep in mind, we both belong to this gym. And I go, Jacob, are you going to the gym tomorrow morning? Can I come with you? And he goes, no, Ethan's coming with me. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'll go fuck myself, I guess. My membership doesn't work. But I went, he gave me a fist bump, so that was good. Otherwise, you wouldn't know we even knew each other because we spoke no words.
I'm of the mind that working out is, I mean, you can do it with other people, but it's a very kind of...
Yeah, you can do it with Ethan.
Yeah, I mean, well, I won't get into it, but I think that it's a individual process that can be shared with others. But if you're doing the same exercises and working the same muscle groups, and then beyond that, it's also like similar to how yoga is this spiritual and individual exercise, and you can do it in groups, but it's very geared towards that. I feel the same way about working out in general. Like, when I wake up in the morning and before I finish that first cup of coffee that I've had, I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to focus on myself, getting myself better, working on my gains and my own goals. And I give you the fist bump because you're family. You know, you gotta let family come first. But at the end of the day, I gotta get my gym session. Otherwise, I'm gonna be raging at the office at the little menial tasks I have to do.
So the fist bump was really you bending over backwards for me.
Yes, actually.
Okay, you mentioned something where you're like, I'm just like trying to like focus on myself and get better in the mornings. I feel like you're always that way.
Maybe.
Sorry, I'm turning it into an interview.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, sorry.
I think so. No, I think so. I think the mindset is to always be that way.
Like,
but,
you're not on dating apps.
or
you are?
I am.
No,
I
never
don't know.
mind. Now
I
he's
go
on a
back and
dating apps.
forth.
Ooh, look
Yeah.
out for Jacob.
But I think broadly speaking, there's like moments where I'm trying to get better, but again, and this goes back to what we just talked about with New York, with someone always being around to do something, is like it'll come to a Saturday night and you've gone out for 3 weeks in a row or 3 nights in a row at that point, and you just want to stay inside and save money and play Apex Legends with your friends on PlayStation, but instead you get that text of saying, hey, what are you doing? And it can be 10:30, it can be 1 a.m., it can be 8 p.m., but suddenly you feel like, oh man, not only do you not want to have FOMO, but it just, like, the opportunity to go do something cool in New York can be fleeting. So whether it be a darts championship or going to the Belmont Stakes, that allure always draws you back in, for good or for bad.
What does this have to do with dating apps?
This doesn't have to do with dating apps. It has to do with getting better. So, like,
Okay.
in terms of me trying to get better, it's like, oh, I want to get better at not going out every night or not going and doing some event every night. There's kind of the double-edged sword of New York of people are always doing something. You have to learn how and when to say no, so that you do stay in and play Apex Legends with your friends.
Okay. I was gonna ask you more about Apex Legends, but then I realized I didn't care that much. Okay, another thing. You spend so much money. So we talked about this yesterday, about how much money people spend in New York. Everything, I think, is really expensive, and a lot of the activities are money spending oriented, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I remember we were gonna go out one night, and Jacob's like, I'm not going out. I don't want to spend any money. And then we're like, you're not going to spend any money when you go out. You'll just spend a little bit of money. But then Jacob did go out and spend a lot of money. So I understood. He bought clothes at the bar.
Yeah.
Which
is understandable if you tell them the name of the bar.
Spring Lounge?
Yeah.
Yeah. If anyone's in New York, you'll know what it is, right?
Well, just go to Spring Lounge if you haven't been, or if you're in New York, check out Spring Lounge.
And check out their merch.
Yeah, their merch is all right.
It's pretty cool.
It was more just for a bit. But it is cool merch, and I will wear it. I'm not wearing it presently, but it's just in the wash, that's why.
Oh, okay. But otherwise, you're always wearing it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's what matters. So it's a worthwhile purchase.
Yeah.
Another thing, walking is awesome. I really like walking places. I feel like I'm moving my body and moving around, and you feel, I think when you're in a car, you don't feel like the sense of accomplishment when you get somewhere because you didn't really do anything to get there. But if you walk like a mile to get somewhere, you feel like you actually like covered ground and accomplished something.
No, it's true, and I think there's some science. I'm by no means am I a scientist, but I've seen like a meme, or maybe it's an actual scientific Instagram or Twitter post, whatever, that the activation in your brain, like someone did a brain scan of someone's brain after 20 minutes of sitting versus after 20 minutes of walking.
Yep.
Which is like about a mile, and because of that, like there was a lot more brain activation, a lot more activity in the person who had walked brain. So I think there is something behind that,
Wait,
and I agree. I agree with that on every level. I think 2:30 rolls around at my job, and I've been sitting or standing at my desk all day. I do want to go take a walk, so I try and get active and get outside despite the heat.
I've noticed that. So when I was in my car in LA, like driving places, I'd always listen to podcasts. And when I'm walking places in New York, I can't listen to podcasts because I'm thinking too much.
Interesting. So do you listen to music then?
Sometimes, or I don't listen to anything.
You just listen to the city. That's good. I'm really into audiobooks, so I listen to, right now I'm on the first book of Game of Thrones. So that's been a great subway experience. Kind of takes me out of the piss
Well,
smelling.
Subway, I listen to music.
Yeah.
Subway's my next comment.
Oh, okay. Well then.
So it's
sorry
a
to jump
smooth
ahead.
transition.
Yes.
I'm getting better at the Subway. That's what I wrote down.
There we go. What was? What
I'm very
were you
scared
bad
of
at?
it.
Can you give me your scouting report on the subway?
Okay. I'm good. I've always been good at like knowing which train to take, where to get on, which staircase to walk, like doing all those things. I'm pretty self-sufficient with. But I'm just like very claustrophobic and very scared that like something is going to happen.
Why?
And I just don't trust it.
Just because the randomness element of the thousands, tens
There's
of thousands
so
of other
exactly.
people,
There's
yeah.
so many people in a confined space where you're stuck and you're really close together and you don't know any of them.
Yeah.
But then that kind of goes to the idea of like people saying like New Yorkers look out for each other.
Yeah, I think 99% of people who take the subway are just normal people looking to get from A to B. So there's kind of this unspoken, I don't look at you, you don't look at me, we don't interact. If I accidentally bump you, I say I'm sorry. And we give each other space, depending on what time of day it is. If it's 8:45 in the morning on the F train, I can touch you, but just barely with my backpack. But if it's like 10:55 on a Saturday, there shouldn't be enough people. You should be able to spread out. The one thing is the almost social force field that forms around miscreants on the subway, whether it be the shoeless, shirtless person who is wandering around, or the drum playing soloist who is blasting music in your ear while you're just trying to make it to your office in the morning. There is sort of this, okay, why is this car empty? Oh, now I know why this car is empty. It smells like piss. Or, oh, the AC is not on. So there's definitely like almost a social animus to it. And it's interesting to experience that on a regular basis. I will say, in the moment when you do see that force field slowly on one end of the car, and that bubble you can see it shifting slowly
the other
towards
end of the
you.
car.
It's your end of the car. It's this idea of anticipation of, oh, what travail is coming at me next. But it is very enjoyable after the fact, but during the fact, it's like, God, why am I in New York?
I don't find it enjoyable after the fact whatsoever.
Oh, but the best part is you get to talk about it afterwards. So when the guy is peeing, then you see there's a circle. This is not my own story, but this comes from a friend of mine. You're looking down the subway. You get off on the Mets game. The Mets game just ended. You know, you've had a couple beers. You're coming back. You're tired. You want to go to sleep. The subway car's empty, and you see there's someone pointed the other direction, kind of hunched over, looking around the floor, like stomping around a little bit. You're like, oh, okay, what's that? I'll just stay on this side. Then suddenly they turn around, they're peeing, and they start running towards you. It's things like that where in the moment you're like, holy shit, I'm terrified for my life. I can swear on this, right?
Yes.
Okay, shit. And
get them all out.
And you're terrified for your life, but then when you get back to the car and you've moved over, you've escaped for that one, and you let that train pass, you laugh about it because it is so funny, and you get to tell that story here, even though it's not my own. So it's things like that.
Yeah,
that
but
really...
I didn't I don't think being in that situation, like getting to tell the story is worth being in that situation.
No, not at all. And I think it's different too. I think it is gendered a little bit. I think me being who I am, 6'4" white male on the subway,
is a lot different.
It's a lot different than being a girl on the subway or a woman on the subway. And I don't need to be as cautious or attentive until it's right in front of me. So yeah, I can totally see that side of it. I do think.
You want to know a trick I learned?
What's the trick?
So when you're on the subway and something a little kooky is happening in your car, that happened to me. When the subway stopped, I got off out of that car and I just walked right in a different car.
There you go.
And I felt much, much better.
Yeah, you're learning. Yeah, I mean, the other thing too is this is what I've started doing is you could start city biking. So city biking is a...
See, that's even scarier to me because I feel like I'm just going to get hit by a car or I'm going to hit a pedestrian.
Maybe, but the bike lanes are well demarcated on the streets in New York.
They are.
So as long as you obey the laws and wear a helmet,
I don't have a helmet.
It's pretty good. It's easy to buy one.
I could buy a helmet.
Yeah. Just
Maybe.
tack it onto your bag.
Maybe I'll do that. Maybe we'll try it out. But I'm getting better at the subway, and that's the moral of the story there.
The other thing
But you know who takes the subway? Tinks takes the subway.
Who's Tinks?
She's like my favorite influencer ever.
Oh, that's right. We were talking about Tinks yesterday.
Yes, she comes up frequently.
Yeah.
She takes the subway.
What does she say about it?
She likes how efficient it is.
It is efficient. I will say it is not efficient relative to the city bike. As long as you're okay city biking in the winter, for how much it costs. City bike you can pay I think it's like $220 for the year, and you get it for the whole year. You get to access any bike. And I did the math on the subway. If you're using it 4 days a week, twice a day, or 5 days a week, twice a day, That's three. Let's round up to, or 275, but I'm rounding up to 3 just to make the math simple. That's 10 times a week, $30 a week, times 4, $120.
Then maybe I'll try city biking.
$120 a month times
Yeah.
12. So then suddenly you're at $1440. So the math, it works out there. It's almost as much as a car payment yearly, right? You're in LA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are expensive.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one. It smells bad.
It does smell bad. You're also here in the dead of summer.
It'll
so
smell
you get
better.
all the dead rats, all the trash, everything is just festering
And hot.
and hot.
It's very loud.
Yeah, it is, especially your area.
Yeah, I live in the Lower East Side, and right where I am is like loud city.
Yeah.
Everyone is close together, which I wrote was awesome. But I think I mean that in like everyone lives close to each other.
Yeah.
So for me to like see any of my friends, it's no more than 20 minutes
Yeah.
to get to them.
Yeah, I always felt relative to LA, the biggest difference was the ability to do multiple things in an evening with
Yeah.
multiple groups. And I don't know if you feel that way.
We did. Remember that one night we went out? We went to like 4 different places. We walked to every single one.
Yeah. But
Like-
we were with different people at every
Yes,
every
and in
spot,
each
yeah.
one we met up with different people,
Yeah, yeah.
which was kind of wild. So people meet each other much easier. Like I remember I wanted my friend to meet Hannah's friend, and so it was super easy for us to all meet up in one central spot.
So what do you think is like the most double-edged difference to LA? So like lack of car. So that's a good thing and like something that's a good thing and a bad thing.
A good thing and a bad thing. I would say like the congestion, where it's like, it's great because like everything's close to each other, so I can walk downstairs and I have 5 different food options. I can walk 4 blocks and can see 5 of my friends. Like everything is so close. My gym is 2 blocks away. Like my office is whatever, super close, and then it has all these food options around it, etc. But the other, like the double-edged sword aspect of that is like everything's really loud. It's not like peaceful. Everything's really dirty and smelly and chaotic, and like there's no like space, and like the apartments are really small, and there's like no quiet time or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's like the biggest double-edged difference that I've noticed thus far. I'd say people like to work hard. I noticed, like people in LA, it's very much like the less hours you work, the more impressive it is. Which is the opposite in New York.
No.
You don't think that's the opposite?
No, it is. So you're right.
Yeah. Like I think the more hours you work, the more impressive it is in New York. But in LA, it's like, how can you work the least amount? And I think there's definitely a time for that. Like, I think when I'm in my like later years in life, I'll probably want to work less. But right now in my mid-20s, like I want to work more and accomplish more and grow more.
Yeah.
So I kind of like being in a culture where everyone's like that. Okay, this is the last one that I had written down. Everyone looks normal. But like I have like less body image concerns. I feel like in LA everything was so oriented around body image, and I was comparing myself to all of these girls who like are on these insane diets, have like plastic surgery, personal trainers, like all of this like med spa treatments, facials, whatever stuff. And in New York, I remember the first time I went to the gym, there were all these girls there and they all looked normal. Like they all looked like my size, wearing the same clothes as me, doing the same things. Whereas like in LA, I feel humongous.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's not something I noticed. I also didn't live in LA.
That's true.
But I don't know. I think I'm just perfect, so it's very easy for me to do this. If I'm comparing myself to everyone, no matter where I am, it doesn't matter. No, seriously.
I used to be like that.
Seriously, I think for me, when I feel that way in general. I think I think in the gym, it's actually the opposite for me. Just because I used to always just work out on my own, like not have a gym, not have to go
Yeah.
and just do that. And now it's like, all right, now I see these massive freaking dudes who like can lift a lot of weight, and I'm like, shit, I gotta do that. Not in like a bad way. And just
I don't
like,
know what
in
massive dudes you're seeing at our gym because all I see are short little kings.
in competitive way. No, there are some big dudes.
Okay.
There's this one dude with a ponytail. Maybe he'll listen to this podcast. Who's there twice a day, every day, and he's my competitor. That's my biggest thing. But then in general, walking around, I'd say people look normal. I think people look normal in general.
Yeah.
And I could see why that's the case, especially when, I mean, I'm not on the social media stuff, but I can see how that can be the case when you are on it. I think relative to, I think on a other scale too that I look at is people dress really well in general. So when I go to Boston and see my friends, like I think I dress pretty casually relative to New York, but I'm easily, or not easily, but I'm one of the best dressed people whenever I go back to Boston, which is interesting for me to see because I don't feel like I dress up that much.
Yeah, but it's not hard to be better dressed than Boston.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know if you feel that way as well relative to maybe LA.
What do you? Oh.
In terms of style and how much like effort
No,
people put.
I don't have like fantastic style, and I think here's the difference. Girls in LA all dress the same, like you all wear black and like kind of tight fitting clothes. And then girls in New York wear very trendy stuff, like very, very cool, on the brink, not normal trends yet, like cool outfits. Like they'll wear those big like parachute skirts with like tiny little pointed toe kitten heels and like you don't even know what I'm talking about.
No, I've
But-
seen that. I know I don't know what
and
either
like
of
the
those things are,
slick
but I
back
know exactly
braid
what you're talking
ponytail
about.
and like yeah, and like these cool like racer sunglasses, and you're like, what? Like she looks so cool. Whereas in LA, everyone just kind of like dresses the same. I mean, in the area of LA I lived in, if you go to the east side of LA, everyone dresses cool like that. But in like the west side of LA, forget about it. Forget about it. We all wear the same Princess Polly and Aritzia, and I'm totally a victim to it. So.
Do you feel like your office culture is totally different?
Totally different.
But
in LA, everyone is like, we are always chatting. We have office Olympics. We have office potlucks. We have like, one guy came in and hit rubber duckies on everyone's desk. Like, shit like that. In New York, if you like try to talk to someone for like a little over a minute and a half, like forget about it. You've reached your limit. But it's very funny. But Sean, to the people listening, who went to Norway with me, she just moved to LA at the same time. So we're to New York at the same time. So we're both in the New York office together. So it's good because I have
nice.
I have a New York buddy
share
or
the
an
New
LA
York-
buddy
New York.
experience. But
Yeah.
she's like she's from Westchester. I went to Syracuse, so she like knows everyone in the city. She has like more friends in New York than she did in LA. So, yeah, those are all my observations.
Yeah. For me, let's see. So city to city, one of the things that people always talk about is crime and homelessness. How do you feel the differences relative to Los Angeles?
It's a lot more in your face in New York.
Okay.
In LA, it's really bad and it happens, but it's in specific areas. You sort of know where it is.
Know how to avoid it.
And people like experiencing homelessness keeps to themselves. Whereas in New York, no matter where you are, there it is. And it's in your face because you're not in your car 3 lanes away driving by. You are like walking up right into it. And people are louder.
People are louder.
People are louder. I have
Yeah.
more to say.
One thing the car does is it gives you a buffer.
Exactly.
Yeah, when you're moving around.
Because you're in your car and you're faster.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're wielding a giant tank, so you are able to zoom away if need be.
One of my friends, when he got his license, his mom said, "You're now driving a 3,000-pound weapon."
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, would you ever want a car in New York City? I don't think I would.
No. I would want to be able to rent one to go to the Hamptons when I'm super rich and have a house. But
It's very easy to take the train there.
I've never taken the train to the
In
Hamptons.
fact, it actually takes less time. I did it this
I
summer.
believe that.
Yeah.
I've only done the jitney.
And the blade, right? You always take blades out there.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm scared of heights and flying. So even given the opportunity, I would not take a blade.
Yeah, nice.
But that's a personal problem.
Yeah.
I don't know how long I'm going to live in New York for. We'll see.
Well, New York City or just New York?
I mean, Los Dos. I wouldn't live in New York, not in the city.
Okay. Yeah, I'm of the same. I probably right now it's like the perpetual. Oh yeah, I got another year.
Yep. Well, I have another year right now because I signed a year-long lease.
Yeah, I mean that's how I feel.
Okay. Okay, cool. Do you have anything else?
What has been my biggest observation with the city? You covered most of them. I think
It doesn't have to be about the city. It can be about anything.
my one has been so. I have a lot of people that I know from a lot of different places.
You're so popular.
Not that I'm popular, just because I've been lucky enough to go to school in Wisconsin and like live in Boston for a bit and stay in touch with those people, as well as work with this kind of national organization. And everyone always says they'll visit New York, but then when it comes to like them actually visiting, it just hasn't happened yet. And I've been there for 8 months now, so maybe it's just I haven't given it enough time. But I really haven't felt like that's been the case. That's just me complaining about my friends more so than it is about New York. But it's interesting how...
Oh, see, I feel the opposite. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people already coming in the next month and a half.
Are they booked?
They're booked.
Okay. Wow.
They're not coming just to visit me, but they're like coming to the city.
Well, your friends clearly like you.
They
better than
love
they
me.
like me.
Yeah, they really do. So maybe I'm more popular. And that's the moral of this story.
Oh, and then one more thing. Jason's coming this weekend, and we're going to try to... Jason, Jacqueline's...
My little brother.
Baby brother.
Baby brother.
Is coming this weekend, and we're going to convince him to move to New York after
He's already
done with
convinced.
school. But we're really going to drive the hammer or the
Exactly.
nail home here.
Exactly. Make sure he's all in. But who knows if I'll still be there next year. We'll find out. We'll see. We'll see how this year treats me. But yeah, I think as long as I don't have any traumatic experiences, I'll stay another year.
Oh,
So we'll see what happens.
no dog.
Oh, I
are
thought you
your
were about to
thoughts?
share a traumatic experience. I haven't shared that with my listeners yet.
Oh, am I not allowed to bring that
No,
up?
I think now's the perfect time.
Okay.
So basically, everyone, we all know and love Zeke. He's literally the fucking best. But when I moved to New York, when I was going to move to New York, at first I was like, yeah, I'll bring Zeke. And then the more I thought about it, the more I realized, like, he was going to hate it. And I also absolutely could not afford it. So in New York, I'm never in my apartment because my apartment's really, really small. It's really loud. He hates loud noise. Like, if the mailman walked by, he would fucking lose it in my old apartment in LA. He'd have to go to daycare every day because I'm going into work. It would have been a nightmare. He really would have been miserable. He doesn't like going to the bathroom on concrete. Like, there's just so many, there's so many issues where, like, it really, really wouldn't have worked. And, like, I'm not going to go into the whole thing because that's not what you came here to listen to. But after, like, thinking about it for months, I was like, I can't do this. So I was I was like, I need to find him a new home. And so I was working with the rescue to try and find him a place to live that would really be, like, a positive situation for him. And what ended up happening is I was on a hike with my dad in Laguna, and we were in line at a deli afterwards with Zeke, and this couple in front of us was like, oh my God, that's the cutest dog we've ever seen. And I was like, thanks, do you want him? And they were like, what the fuck? And I was like, no, truly, like, I'm moving to New York, it's this whole thing, he can't come with me, it's not gonna work, like, I don't know what to do, I'm so distraught, whatever. And they were like, yes, we want him, we would love to have him. Like, they had 2 other dogs, so we went over. He met the other dogs. He got along so well with them. They have, like, a 14-year-old son. They have a bocce court, a yard, a fire pit, like the whole setup. And he's obsessed. They send me videos and pictures every single day. And he literally couldn't be happier and, like, couldn't be luckier. And they were like, whenever you come back, come visit him, like, whatever. So Zeke is there. He's very, very happy. And it was probably the hardest thing I've had. Not the hardest thing I had to do. Going to my mental hospital was the hardest thing I had to do. But other than that, this having to like decide to rehome Zeke was probably the second hardest thing.
Giving up your firstborn.
My firstborn I've ever had to do. But I love him so dearly. And I just know after being in New York for 2 weeks, he would be so miserable. Like, he's not the type of dog who can sit alone and just, like, chew on a bone and be happy with himself. Like, he has really bad separation anxiety, so he would have just been so miserable. And honestly, by this point, I would have gotten a noise complaint and kicked out of my apartment. So, like, there's no way it would have worked. But I love the little king, and there'll be updates when I get to see him again. But, yeah, anyways, not having a dog. It's wild because my life doesn't revolve in 6-hour increments, if that makes sense. So when I had the dog, it was like everything I did was in a 6-hour increment because that's the longest he could be home alone for. And now I'm just like out and about. So like I'll go to work at 8 a.m. and I won't get home until 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Like it's wild. It's fun.
Yeah, it's great, right?
It's great. It's nice to only have to like think about myself.
And it's tiring. Living in New York is tiring.
It's exhausting. So we're in the Cape right now getting some R&R. Just relaxing with the fam, you know, staring out onto the water, the green grass. I couldn't get over how green it was when we got over here. I was like, oh, haven't seen green. And yeah, but on Saturday, we're going to be right back at it.
Till
Okay.
next time.
Till next time. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me on, Jackie. This was great.
You rock, Jacob. Bye.
Did you laugh? I didn't.